All right, and we are live, and we are talking about branding and why it's a total myth. It's a lie that if you build it, they will come. It's not true. Don't believe it. I am here with the fabulous Caitlin Penny of Copper Theory Creative. Caitlin, for those who don't know you, why don't you give a little introduction about who you are and what you do?
Awesome. Thank you for having me. This is so fun and exciting. Thank
I
you.
know.
I'm Caitlin Penny. I own Copper Theory Creative. We're a brand strategy and design studio based out of Arizona. And what we do is help businesses build the brand foundation. Most people tend to skip to all the instant marketing tactics, I call them, except you don't have anything to base it off of. So, what we help you do is create a plan with priorities so you can make data driven decisions. Because, I mean, if you think about it, if your target market's an 85-year-old man, probably don't need to be on TikTok. You know what I mean? So instead of doing everything and anything that you can be doing, we'll tell you what's going to work the best, where you should be spending your money, maybe you shouldn't be spending your money. And we're always here to have a good time. So we love those disruptors in the industries. We love the people that are really trying to take a stance for something. So again, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to talk about this topic.
Super excited. Yes, always. I'm always happy to geek out with you. Just always. Yeah, so we met I don't know, a week or two ago, and I was like, do you want to go live? And you were like, sure. And I was like, okay, what do we want to talk about? And the one that we landed on was branding myths. And from there we narrowed it down to build it and they will come, and why that is a complete lie and not true. And, and what to do
We'll
about
fight you.
that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I love talking branding. It's what you and I both do every day, and I think it's safe to say that you love it just as much as I do, right? And so when it comes down to it, just like saying marketing out loud, people tend to roll their eyes or be like, what does that actually mean? Right.
Right.
And so there are a lot of myths that come within branding and marketing that, I think that this would be a great one to address just because I'm already thinking of so many examples that come to mind
Right.
with this idea.
Yeah. So shoot, what is one example that comes to mind?
So I would say that, first off, marketing doesn't create demand. It amplifies what's already there. And so when it comes down to it, you have to have some substance behind everything. You have to have a plan and a foundation. And the the thing that comes to mind is this has happened a couple of times. So we've been in business as of 10 years next month. So
Congrats.
that's thanks, thanks. It's also my birthday month. Did that on purpose. But when I first started the company, I was a one woman show who did graphic design and couldn't print your business cards. Now we do the brand strategy and foundation. But about 5 years in, I figured out that I really wanted to be a partner and not a vendor. And so what that meant to me is that I have a whole team that can provide digital services, but what happened was we would get a lot of people coming to us for the wrong reasons. And you don't know what you don't know, but help me on Instagram, Caitlin. We need a website. Okay, well, we built the website, and then 30 days out, I'm getting a phone call asking why we're not millionaires yet. Doesn't really work like that. I wish it did, and I wish the build it and they will come thing would be true. But we've all built something, right? And I might even say something that didn't work. And so there has to be a viable product or service behind it. And I think one of the things that actually happens is we're so distracted about all of these pretty things like a website, like a logo. And we also added into the conversation, branding is not just logos and color or logos, fonts, colors, it's great if you look pretty, but if there's no substance behind it, if nobody understands what you're doing, you're actually spotlighting yourself to show everybody that you have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the website shouldn't be your first priority. Your first
Mm-hmm.
priority should be positioning in the marketplace. It should be messaging to the right people. And do you even know who the right people are? You got to
That one.
start somewhere. Yeah, yeah. uh, Tell me why that rings a bell for you.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, I feel for these people because I've been there too, right? Where you start out your business and you're like, I just need clients. I just need people to pay me. I just need some income coming in the door so I can put food on the table and keep a roof over my head, right? So people get very, you start trying to narrow down who they want to work with and they go, oh, I can work with. I had this conversation the other day with a realtor who was like, all of my clients, everyone is my client. I'm like, okay, hold up.
No. Nope.
Not everyone can afford to buy a house.
Right. So let's start there.
Let's start with people who can afford to buy a house or people who already have a house who need to sell it. And she's like, yeah, but they're not going to tell me that up front and blah, 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 and had this example. It's like, all right, they might not have as much money as they need to do the thing they want to do, but they have a house. They have enough money to buy a house. There are so many people who do not fit that category. So even just very narrowly, just broadly narrowing it down to people who can afford to pay me.
Right. Well, and then why would you want to waste your time on those people if you're going to go through this entire process just for them to not get approved for a loan or, whatever the case may be? Like, why are you trying to waste your time? And I think marketing agencies also get a bad rap because being a vendor means taking and following through on whatever you're asked to do. Being a partner in the situation, be like, maybe we do need to figure out your target market first before we blast everything all over the internet. And our hands are in so many things that we're not even tracking anything. So how do we know what's working and what's not?
Yeah, that's another big one. Track.
And then I'd say being a partner would be, okay, great. Like, I understand that you want to work with everybody because you care, right? So that's the case for most of us. We want to help you out, right? And we still do sometimes. Like, let's be real. But why wouldn't you want advice from an expert in branding or anything else that you'd be hiring for? That's what their expertise is in, to say, hey, maybe we should be a little bit more specific because then you're going to get quality leads. Then you're going to know the right places to advertise. And I think, going back to the bad rap that marketing agencies get is because they're taking the demands in and then charging you on a monthly basis for social media, when in reality it's just generalized content because they know nothing about your company, and frankly, neither do you. And then you're saying, oh, well, you guys do a bad job. No, there's nothing behind the scenes. There's no substance when it comes down to it. People don't know if you're the right choice for them. And what really needs to happen is you need to present the exact solution to the issue that they're looking for right now. So what kind of realtor do you want to be? I mean, there's personal brands all over the place. Like, are you in a luxury market? Are you in a first-time buyer market? What geography are you in? There's so many things that you can think about, because realtors used to be like my number one clients way back when. And they loved the personal branding logos because it made them stand out. I remember a guy that I worked with that he only did, I wonder how relevant this is nowadays because not a realtor. He only did eco-friendly everything in houses, which would be higher end, more expensive, but would save you in energy, gas, all the bills. And so he really based his company off of that. But you have to explain that to people. You have to show them the numbers for them to believe you, and you have to have a proof of concept with that. But you also have specialized vendors that you work with, which would be your partners in business. Everybody kind of has to believe and live under the same roof if you're going to work together and make money together, because you can't do it alone. Let's be real. And you have to practice what you preach.
Yeah. So going back to how you got started, which I love because I have a very similar background. I got started on the writing side, whereas you draw the things, and I was very much Allison, write this, and I'd go, okay, and I'd write it. And then I had learned about SEO because SEO and content are so intertwined. And then, yeah, it did start to become a question of, well, what's actually going to make this content effective? Am I just putting stuff on your website just to have it there? There's driving clients to your website, but like you said, is it driving the right traffic to your website, or is it drawing people to you that are just going to waste time on a sales call because they're never going to turn into a client? So figuring all that out then turned into branding, because it's like, all right, if we don't have the brand strategy in place first, actually got started because I would ask for brand voice guidelines and I would get a blank stare and a brand voice. What now?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Okay. Let's back up. So I ended up kind of started doing branding light for my clients for free. And then I was like, why am I not charging for this? This is like a whole other service. So it's really just the best year or so that I started calling myself a brand strategist, because it was like, all right, we got to back up, because if we don't have the strategy in place first, it's kind of like getting in a boat and rowing somewhere. I don't know if it's going to get you where you want to go. Maybe
you don't know what your destination is.
Yeah.
What are you actually trying to accomplish?
Exactly. So let's figure out where you're going to go and how we're going to get there. And then we can write the content that's going to drive the boat and get us to where we want to go. But we got to draw the map first, people.
Right. And I think, that you bring up a good point too, because, my dog, excuse me. Well, this is what happens when we're live, guys. Your dog gets caught in the wires of your computer, and then we go down. Okay, we're good. And we're back. Thank you all for the intermission. Okay. I think that, bring me back, Allison. I got distracted. My computer was about to go down.
Yeah, rowing. Where are we rowing to? Where's the destination? How are we going to get there? And how does your brand strategy help you get there? I think the other common one that we talk about, the analogy is building a house, right?
Yep.
The brand strategy is the foundation. Everything else goes off of that. And I love what you said earlier about people coming to you for Insta tactics. And it's like, that's like trying to put the roof on when you haven't built the rest of the house.
When you don't have a house. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would, yeah. Thank you for bringing me back.
Anytime.
I was going to say, so I was going to say, we reverse engineer everything. And I know that you do too. And so when we have these branding conversations, we're not here to judge you. We're not here to change who you are. And I think that needs to be reminded a little bit more, because people are really nervous and then they get embarrassed because they don't understand what brand voice might be. And then I know that, I'm guilty of forgetting that people don't know the same terminology as us. Like, it's happened my entire career. And so that's why I've come up with these analogies, like building the house, right? Like you said, the brand foundation is the actual foundation of the home. You need that to build anything on top of it, whether it's a home or not, right? And then the problem is that most people skip that part and decide what color the nursery is going to be, or what color, shingles we're going to put on the roof, before we have any sort of foundation laid. And then they wonder why the whole house is falling apart. And I'm just like, okay, let's take a step back. It's okay. But the other thing too is that's great. You know why? I'm not blaming that person for wanting to know or wanting to design the nursery. That excites me. I love designing rooms. Like, I know it's not believable right now, but this is my new office. So next episode. But that shows us that they have vision, right? And that they're excited about something. And that's really great, because then we have something to work off of, AKA maybe the goals that we're working towards, because they might not even have a kid yet, if we're going to run with this analogy. But yeah, I mean, it's just super important to make sure that these customers and our, their businesses, like, I want to know your vision. I want to believe in it. I want to be your partner when it comes down to it, because I think it works better, because then we understand their brand voice, for example, and we can explain what brand voice is if we don't really get what that means yet, because it's just, how does Caitlin talk in person versus email versus on LinkedIn Live, right? Is it all consistent? And we just want to know what the characteristics are of that to make sure that if you're super fun and bubbly, you're not going to sound like a cranky corporate, right? Like, and then you're going to be upset because it doesn't sound like you. We just want to make sure it's working. But I think too, when we're working through this, it brings out a lot of creativity in people. It's supposed to be a fun process. I constantly am telling everyone that all of my mantras and everything in business always end with, and we're here to have a good time. Like, if you don't hear us laughing, it's weird. And you don't also have to start from square one every single time. That's not what I'm trying to do.
That's true.
And I want to see, you want to see, what do you have, right? Send me the documents. We do the same kind of thing. Almost every single time that we work with someone, it's an information collection process in the very beginning, right? We want to see what you're working with, what kind of analytics, what things you've been tracking. Maybe you have some insight on what's working, what's not. Because I'm not going to make the suggestion if we already have data on it. But I am going to make the suggestion if, you know, you're wasting your time on Instagram, maybe you should be allotting those funds somewhere else. And people think that's crazy because another thing that I always say is I'll be the first person to tell you to stop spending money on marketing things. And they're like, aren't you a marketing agency? Like, how do you even make money? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm not going to suggest just generic landscape of here are all of the options, because that list never ends. Like, what are you actually trying to do? What are you actually trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I'm sure you get this question all the time, because I get this question all the time, is what's the best platform? Or just someone randomly coming up and saying, what platform should I be on? And I'm like,
no, not an answer. There's not an answer to that. It depends. And then and then they love that every single time.
They love that. Yeah. They just roll their eyes and go, okay.
Marketers. I'm like, it's true though.
It's so true.
Like, oh, well, you just want to sell me, you know, something. I'm like, no, that's not what we're trying to get at.
I just want to make sure I'm not giving you crappy advice, and to do that, I have to make sure that we know, what good advice for you is, because and I love that you brought in the have a good time, because I always do that too when I'm working on a brand strategy with a client. I'm like, okay, this is going to be so much fun, because it is. And they do inevitably ramble, because I ask them all these really deep questions, and they go on and on and on. And they're like, stop me if I'm telling too much. And I'm like, there's no,
the more information, the merrier.
There's no too much information in the branding session. Like, just dump it all here. Let me work with it, because the more I have to work with, the better.
I like that you brought up like the crappy advice thing. It made me think of something. So we're both members of Provisors, and there's a lot of attorneys and lawyers and Provisors, right? It would be like the equivalent to that, or the comparison to that, would be us talking to, like, showing up to an attorney's office asking for criminal defense, and they're like, so you want to get divorced today? Like, we just need some information, that's all. Like, just make sure we're helping you in the correct avenue, because you'd be like, I think I'm gonna go. Like,
well, and there's a bunch of financial service professionals in Provisors as well, and every time you see their stuff online, there's always the disclaimer that this is not financial advice, blah, 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 blah. And like, that should be true of marketers too. Like, this is not, I can give you general information and general advice about what to do and what not to do, but I can't give you advice for your specific brand until I've asked you a million questions and we've been sitting down for 3 hours.
I might put that as a funny disclaimer, like a warning caution label on my website. Thanks for that idea. I might just have an entire warning page.
Yes.
This is not merited unless you are willing to participate.
Yes. Oh, can we talk about that? Can we talk about participation on the client side? Just because I know, like, I'm sure you've had this too, people being like, write this, and they think hiring me is, ta-da, I took care of it. I hired Allison. I paid her. We're done. And I'm like, okay, I need this from you. Like, right now I'm waiting on stuff for a client. Like, I can't move forward until I get this from you. And sometimes it is sitting down and having a conversation. Sometimes it is handing over the materials and what you already have. Most of the time it's both of those things. So But people don't understand that about marketing, because I think there are so many marketers out there who are like, yeah, we'll post on social media for you and it'll be
Pull it
great.
out of the clouds. Yeah. If I could do that, I would be making a lot more money.
I think at this point you'd be making a lot less money, because now people can do that.
That's fair. That's a good point. Yeah, we'll get to AI. Yeah, I mean, as far as client participation goes, I have so many thoughts. One of the things that, because of the lack of client participation in some areas or some situations, it has actually made it as a very legible point on our vetting and vibe check list of things before we decide to move forward with you, because we have the right to say no, right? And the reason we added that is because you have to participate. We've had, I'm sure you've had too, but I've had people come to us where they're just like, well, just do it, right? I'm like, great, but we need, again, information to be able to do it right. And by the way, what does right mean to you? Because I can do that once we get to a certain point. And that point, and between that and starting point, is where we do the information collection. And it's probably one of the most, what is the word I want to use? It takes freaking forever. And it's one of the hardest steps in the entire process is information collection. So what we decided to do is think about like why, right? So as an entrepreneur, no matter what stage that you're in, you and I talk to a lot of CEOs or higher up in the companies, right? That's not their job. Their job isn't to email people. Well, maybe it is, but in this sense, it's the communication. It almost into an admin role or the marketing team's role if you've got one. What I do was say very clearly when we do a presentation that your participation is required, and we actually give it a certain amount of hours per month based on what they've asked us to present, and say, we need you in X, Y, and Z meetings. We need this information, and here's what to expect. And this, you don't get to pass this line until we receive and you participated in all these things, because then the timelines get pushed back. Then the expectations are high, and what we have is pretty low on the information count. And so we made sure to, we also, on top of everything, we also make sure to ask who can be responsible for providing all the information that we need. Because it might not be the founder or the CEO. They might have an assistant, a VA, an EA, whatever you want to call them, somebody that you can hand a list to and say, hey, by Friday, Caitlin and Allison need this list of things. Because then they don't have to worry about it. It's not another task on their list. They feel like things are moving. They feel like we're working with the team, because I'm not here to take anybody's jobs. And, we're moving towards something. Then there's a clear vision of scheduling on the calendar. We'll tell you how long it's going to take. We need you to show up on these days. But after we get past that part, I mean, it takes about a month if, everything goes well. But after we get past that, it's just check-ins at that point, right? They get to decide how much participation and how active in the situation and process they want to be. And we still might have, bi-weekly emails or check-ins with the team, but then we've had clients that are totally hands-off, great outcome. We've had clients that are totally hands-on, great outcome. And same deal with the other side of it, right? But it's just a matter of setting those expectations and boundaries, I think, in the beginning too.
Yes, 100%. Awesome. Well, I could talk about this all day. Well, we're going to have to do this again.
Yes, please. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, this has been a lot in the best way. Like, I'm thinking still so many things that I want to talk about. So
Yeah.
I look forward
I
to
know.
doing this.
I know. I have to cut us off because, like I said, we could do this all day.
From market research, we know that you guys don't pay attention after minute 24. So we'll see you guys on the next
There we go.
episode.
There you go.
Thank you, Allison.
Data in action. So before we go, do tell the good people where they can find you.
Absolutely. Well, good people, my name is Caitlin Penny again, and I am the owner of Copper Theory Creative. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram under Copper Theory Creative. You can also find me on LinkedIn with Caitlin Penny, brand expert. Our website is also coppertheorycreative.com. Thank you.
Awesome. And you, of course, can find me here on LinkedIn. You can find me over on YouTube as Allison Verhalen, content marketer. And you can find my website, which is AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. That is avwritingservices.com. Thanks so much, Caitlin.
Thank you.